Discretion advised. This episode of One Moment Podcast contains a true life story discussing sensitive topics, including suicide attempts, mental health challenges, substance use, and traumatic brain injury, which may be triggering for some viewers. Please reach out to the National Suicide and Crisis Hotline at 988, contact a local emergency department, or visit a nearby crisis center. Your well-being matters.
I am also known as Bencasso. Anybody that has mental health challenges and wants to submit some art, I'd love to see it. I got hit by a train, and then I also got hit by a car. Part of my skull is titanium right here, and methyl methacrylate. The skull was shattered.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Trevor Zylstra, and I am a co-founder of the Mental Health Awareness Group of the One Moment Podcast team. I'm glad that you're here with us today with my friend and co-founder, Kevin Odom from the state of North Carolina, and Benjamin Barnes, who is a guest from California. We just want to thank everyone for being with us, and hang on, buckle down, because we have a pretty serious episode ready for you to be proceeding. Thank you.
Thank you, Trevor.
And my name is Kevin. I am a licensed clinical mental health counselor, a licensed clinical addiction specialist, and a certified clinical supervisor, all in the state of North Carolina. And thank you, Mr. Trail, for opening us up.
Mr. Benjamin Barnes, also known as Bencasso. I think that's kind of reminiscent of Picasso.
Yes.
We'll have to find out. You go ahead and introduce yourself as well. Thank you for your time.
Hey, thank you, Trevor. I am also known as Bencasso. So there's about 30 or 40 Benjamin David Barneses with my middle name too, and even more of them are Benjamin Barneses, and the Benjamin Barnes that's the movie star, and the Benjamin Barnes that's the famous magician, Benjamin Barnes that's the politician, Benjamin Barnes that's so I was trying to put it all together, and I wanted to have something that was that wasn't Benjamin Barnes, because I would have been confused with a million other people. So I was documenting my life's work to video, and I was putting it all together, making YouTube channels and social media, and so I thought of, and at the time I was setting up an art gallery. This is actually a mental health art gallery that shows the works of people with mental health challenges. So I want to get that out there. Anybody that has mental health challenges and wants to submit some art, I'd love to see it. But I was thinking of Picasso and Basquiat, so they were both a little bit crazy. So I with the time I was also doing like Ben Coltrane, Ben this, Ben that. So Ben Halen, Benjamin Sebastian Bach. So I was just trying to find this identity that because I do so many different kinds of projects and so many different kinds of music that I can't really put it all into one place in like one YouTube channel, and it's like I do some bluegrass, so I Benjamin the disciple of Kenny Baker. I do jazz, so I'm Ben Luke Ponte. I do tons of different kinds of music, but I try to have a Ben something for every music and kind of music and artwork that I do. So the art is Bencasso after Picasso, and then Basquiat after Basquiat. Bencasso, Basquiat. And it's all supposed to be funny. I don't compare my works to be as good as them at all, or it's significant. It's just for fun.
Here's a curious question, Mr. Ben. Do you have a Ben medal?
Yeah, Ben Zeppelin.
No, I mean like metal. That's just rock and roll. I'm talking about.
Yeah. Okay. I used to be a rock star. My band Deadweight there's a new band now called Deadweight that that don't get confused with them. They're also a metal band, but we were more hard rock. We were a hard rock power trio that was electric violin, electric cello, and drums, and I was the lead singer and violin player. And we played a lot of original music, uh, and did 3 albums, and then post we're on hiatus, but we put together a couple more albums of live work and some recordings that we never got out. And so uh, we used to, Jason Newsted of Metallica, uh, he produced the first demo that I did, which was pretty cool. I
Very.
was, oh, sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Oh, that's okay. It's very interesting because he's from my home state of Michigan.
Oh yeah. I was born in Michigan too.
I was
We
I was born in New Jersey and raised in Michigan, and
yeah
like this metal connection is going pretty strong um, right now, and it's interesting because my curious question was when I said metal, you think of that; those are popular, but
yeah.
also an unpopular version of metal called black metal, or to assimilate the connection with the dark art.
Oh yeah. I've heard of that.
I have my younger brother's best friend has been tattooing, and his specific genre correlates with an artist by the name of Paul Booth. His name is uh, Evil Dave Sladen, but he's not evil at all. It's just a name moniker, but it's the concept of artistic work that most of the rest of traditionally accepted art doesn't get accepted because it's so people are just so taken aback by some of the things that they see. And so anyways, I just like the connection with the metal part of it and the dark arts,
Yeah,
and I'll promote that because him and his family stood by my baby brother's side while he was going through his cancer before he passed on account of it, and they are more family to me right now today than my very own family. So I just wanted to expound a little bit
so
on that.
I'd
If
like
you,
to see his art. I'd like to see some of it.
he's on Instagram, Evil Dave.
Instagram, Evil Dave.
Yeah,
Okay,
it'll come up and you'll be like, "Whoa, this guy's good." He also
yeah.
he also had his own band back in the day called Evolution, which
Evolution. Yeah, good.
yeah, what's weird about that? I heard the reference to it. It was actually from a Beatles song.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I heard the song today, but because I have a, a medical issue of my own, which
Yeah,
is very important to talk about too, because the Brain Injury Association of America,
yeah.
I was a member of a Zoom meeting, and the topic of the meeting itself was about art and people with traumatic brain injuries evolving, even though they have a brain injury that's a permanent handicap. This one lady, several people in the meeting were highly advanced in their. They had created an actual gallery up in Denver for it, so it was just really one of the most amazing meetings that I'd ever been to.
Speaking of traumatic brain injury, I have traumatic brain injury twice. I got hit by a train, uh, and then I also got hit by a car. Part of my skull is titanium right here and methyl methacrylate. The skull was shattered, and there's a skin graft on my head from my leg, and a muscle. The lateralis muscle from my back is up on my head.
Right. It's really important.
To
It's so one of the things that the podcast was established for was because of the ideations of stigmata and the
Yeah,
stereotypic and the culturally and the systematically system, whatever you might be involved in,
right.
diminishes people's disabilities that aren't visible. And as with a traumatic brain injury, it's especially me. I have zero resources. I've had no care for the time that I've uh, had this injury, and unfortunately, it happened from a decision that I made on my own.
What was that?
I don't want to go into that length of it, but
Yeah.
I fractured my skull on the concrete floor of the garage,
Wow.
and that was back in February of 24.
Wow. Wow. That
So
was recent.
Minimal amount of care since, because I have no financial background to support that,
Yeah.
and so everything's kind of been going downhill. But how in the world is it that all of a sudden I'm using my brain in a way that I never thought possible and still help other people, even though I'm going through the process of limited resources at all?
Right. Right.
Huge.
I'm lucky. Before that, I had uh, uh, mental health disabilities. So I've been I'm on Medicare. So they give you health care for that, and uh, so I've schizoaffective disorder and uh, uh, crippling anxiety, morbid depression, and uh, post-traumatic stress disorder and traumatic brain
Wow.
injury. So, uh, but I don't let that stop me from trying to be an entrepreneur. I, I, I won the San Francisco Artist Award from the San Francisco Arts Commission in 2023, and I used the money to put on a concert and also partly to promote the concert. I've been wanting to put together a nonprofit uh, for since the 1990s, and I wanted to be a mental health uh, awareness nonprofit because I grew up with my mom. She's got schizophrenia, and my dad's got bipolar disorder, and they were both drug addicts, and grew up in a very traumatic household. I talk about it a lot on this. This is my book, Loosened Associations: Jazz Automemorization of Music, Mischief, and Madness. And loosened associations is a term. It's a psychological term. It's the layperson's term for uh, 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 there's uh, I can't remember what the name it is. It's something uh, disorder. I'll think of it. But I talk about growing up with mentally ill, drug addicted parents uh, in the hippie era, and a lot of things that happened while I had my first episodes, and what happens to me in certain episodes, mental health episodes, where I uh, uh, see a lot of things like symbolism has a really strong effect on me when I go into an episode.
Right.
Like if I hear a number like you know. 50 cents, or 50. I think it's just the police, and they're coming, and I actually start believing that I'm a police officer, and I believe that I'm a narcotics officer that that is investigating my friends. It's pretty pretty intense, and it actually led to. I want to say something about this. It's this story about my suicide attempt, and if anybody's feeling any kind of uh, suicidal ideations, or like they might want to hurt themselves, then call 988. That's a suicide hotline, and just talk it out, because a lot of suicides are caused by the loneliness epidemic. The loneliness epidemic is an actual American Medical Association uh, 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 recognized malady that causes higher rates of suicide, up to 30% suicide rate from elderly and mentally ill individuals. Um, so anyway, back to my story. I believe that I was going to have to testify. My girlfriend at the time went through my pants and found a baggie of blow, um, that I had bought from a guy that I believed, that I was told by the owner of this one club was connected to the Mexican cartels, and that you just don't fuck with them. And of course I believe that, and it probably was just a bunch of BS, but uh, so I believed that this bag that I bought, she worked at a at a city, and knew a bunch of police officers in in that in this small town outside of San Francisco, and from that she she said that she was going to take it to the police, and I was saying no, you can't do that, and she took my keys and took my meds, my anxiety meds, and wouldn't give them to me, and locked me out of the house. And so I was thinking that I was having this episode. I was all stressed out, so I went into this bipolar mania and started to believe that this guy Juan was going to. Well, he used to sell. I'd seen him sell to police officers in San Francisco before, sell cocaine, and so I believe that dirty cops and the Mexican cartel were going to kill all my friends because I was going to have to testify, and so all that stuff was going through my head. All the while, every mob movie that I'd ever seen, and uh, and all the horrible things that I've heard about Mexican cartels was going through my head. So I was at a BART station uh, after I went to a city college class, and uh, I, I I just couldn't deal with the guilt of having killed all my friends because I catastrophized, and I was thinking the worst possible outcome was going to happen, and so I jumped in front of a train, and if I'd had somebody to talk to, uh, uh, and part of that had to do with loneliness. Uh, I didn't have any friends to call and have them talk me down out of this suicidal, well, not suicidal ideation, this fantasy that I was believing about all my friends being killed because of something that I'd done, which is testifying at a court case against Juan. So um, pretty much that's what happened, and that's how I got the my skull got shattered, and they had to put uh, a, a prosthetic bone in there, and uh, took muscle from my back and a skin graft from my leg and a vein from my arm, and grafted it all to my head. Uh, so so anyway, to avoid having something like that happen to yourself, uh, call 988. Um, it, there's always somebody that's going to be able to give you a new perspective on life and that you want to live.
Yeah. No, thank you. And Trevor, that shows your growth too. On
Absolutely.
overall, man. Like you've been doing this thing, and I'm sitting over here. I'm like, wow. Hey, I can go ahead and go about my business, right? No, but both of you were just so amazing right there. So you mentioned again, disclaimer here, suicide attempt. If you need help, please, as Mr. Ben has, conveyed, reach out for help. You have 988. There's many resources out there. You mentioned too that you have schizoaffective and bipolar. You also have an extensive history with band playing and touring and all that. So, you know, what I hear and see a lot of is people with mental health is at least some more of those severe diagnoses like you yourself had, has identified. How do you keep it together? All right. And this is for a more of an educational question. Um, And then I want to kind of go into some of your music industry too. I definitely want to talk about that. But since we're on all of this, like, how did you keep it together with the band playing all of that stuff?
Uh, there's there were a few strategies. Yeah, yeah. I get asked this quite often because I've accomplished a lot in my life despite my disabilities, and one thing that really helped me out a lot is having music and art, and being able to uh, use that as therapy, learning how to play an instrument, and that that raises your mood. It allows you to get productive and be able to do things, to get out of bed, turning on music and listening, and getting some motion, and dancing around, dancing to music, and creating music, and then creating art. The doing a lot of things with lines and form and color. It stimulates your brain, stimulates the endorphins, a lot like heavy exercises. And I do some a good deal of exercise. Before my bike got stolen, I mountain biked a lot, uh, and I also cycled road biked, and uh, some other things is keep yourself busy. I I I really I try to make every minute of my day count, because a lot of it I'm recovered. It took me several years. I couldn't play music. I had to relearn how to do a lot of things because of the traumatic brain injury, and so I had to relearn how to do all that stuff. And so uh, when that was happening, I thought that my music career was over. So I went back to school. I had bandages on my head, and it took 7 years for them to put my head back together, to reconstruct the skull, for it to stop bleeding. Um, uh, but I went and I started teaching kindergarten and third grade and fifth grade. I went back to school and got my multiple subjects teaching credential. Uh, and I volunteered at the schools and student taught for 2 years. Uh, and that was another thing, was getting involved and educating myself. And that's one of the strategies that I've had to uh, keep from getting too depressed. And it's really important that you keep productive, and you do things that give yourself self esteem, some bolstering, make yourself feel better about yourself, and have stuff that you feel proud of that you made. Uh, that's that's a one of the that is the most healthy, health healing thing that you can do is be proud of stuff that you made, like be able to make music, and be able to make a piece of art, or be able to do things entrepreneurially, setting up a 501c3 or an LLC, like I did. You have to have some money to get that stuff started, but I got a $20,000 grant from the San Francisco Arts Commission, and I finally had some money. Most of my life I spent on SSI, uh, and then SSDI. Uh, so I didn't have any resources, and I busked in BART stations and played gigs, and then I was touring a lot with my bands. Uh, uh, so I couldn't hold a job. A lot of it had to do with disability. And when, with my crippling anxiety, I would go to the job interviews and just sort of strike out, because as I had too much to hide. And it was like, you can't tell people that, oh, I've got schizoaffective disorder, I've got bipolar disorder. Like, there are things that people ask you how you're doing, or what are you up to, or why did you do this, or something. You don't tell them that you're mentally ill. They don't get that. You don't get that out there. But as soon as it gets out there, then there's everybody has this idea of what kind of person you are because of a chemical imbalance or maybe using too many chemicals or uh, when there's I really want to this uh, take away the stigma of it that people with mental illness are dangerous or violent or uh, uh, can't hold a job or can't create things, aren't a productive member of society, are bums living on the street, things like that. When everybody's really got their own unique talents, and especially the people that struggle with mental health issues, uh, they're they they all have something to offer, and to bring that out of them by offering education programs and job training that is something that give them well, there should be more opportunities for people who are disabled, whether you're disabled, you're in a wheelchair and can't walk or can't can't relate to people on a professional as a professional. Uh, you know what I mean. I've got tons of things going on in my head right now. There's so many ideas.
It's all good. Gotta love that TI, don't you, buddy? I'm I'm feeling you because what you just described for me is very similar to the exact thing that's happening on with my life right now.
Yeah,
I have an expounded, extremely large amount of issues, personal issues that I'm dealing with, but at the same time, my thinking, my ability to disregard the bad part of my existence, I'm still able to try to help others. And that is the critical part about this discussion, is because no matter how far down the scale you have personally gone, you are still able to use what thinking you have to be able to reach out and help others, even though you're still going through the most difficult time of your life at the same time. So that's an extremely great accomplishment. Um, I'm I'm impressed and proud of you.
yeah. That's
And
one of the strategies is to be of service uh, when when you're having your own issues and with self esteem and your own self concept. Just doing something to help other people will really it makes you normal again. You don't fall into that depression. And
it hits really clearly on a big spiritual level, too. For me, your experience might be different, but for me, that solidifies the existential functions that we need to keep conducting to help others because we are
yeah,
trying to help ourselves at the same time.
yeah. It's
No, definitely. So you go through all of that, and as Mr. Trev said, and this is then I'm gonna let Trev pick up the next question on you. Um, so you go through that. You've been through a lot, and so you were telling me things earlier that you do. So I hate to ask you again, but I don't hate to ask you all at the same time. What do you do today? What do you have going on today? Because you said that you're a music teacher. You were telling me
uh,
that. So I wanted to know,
yeah.
you also said something about an art gallery. Like, what do you do today?
I've got so I was able to relearn how to play a violin and play guitar and sing after my accident. So I decided not to pursue being a kindergarten teacher or a third grade teacher, a grade school teacher. I was able to play music. I'll never be as good as I was before the accident, but I can play on a professional level. And uh, I I registered an LLC that's it's an arts and entertainment and publishing business. I publish my own sheet music, and I've got two books that I've published. This and listen to Associations Jazz and Artistpreneur Economic. Uh, uh, so, and I've got several YouTube channels that I create content for, and a gig service, and I teach violin and guitar, and do some vocal coaching, teach singing privately, and I've got this company called The Strolling Violinist, where I go and I play for corporate events and weddings and things like that. You can check that out at thestrollingviolinist.com. It's got and my own website, benjaminbarnes.com. That's got all my recordings on it, available for streaming. I've got over 110 recordings of audio recordings of classical, jazz, bluegrass, and rock music that I'd like people to give a listen to. And that's benjaminbarnes.com. And that's also my teaching. And I've got an archive of a bunch of things that I've done. Like this podcast is going to be on there when it gets produced. Like, so you go to this one page and it's got all my Coach's Corner radio podcast segment that I do for the price of business. But I've given artistpreneur tips, business tips on how to become a professional at doing what you love. Something that has it really it's a great strategy for dealing with mental health issues. Is being able to do something that you love and make a living at it, not have to work for the man. But that's the-cultures-corner.com, or there's a YouTube channel, and the articles go out on print on the Price of Business digital network. Then I registered a 501c3 Culture Scholar Corporation, and we started this music for mental health. This is a card I just made, and this Culture Scholar is the 501c3 that's it's arts and education and wellness wellness organization that takes live concerts and music and arts classes into retirement homes, mental health clinics, and community centers, so we can reach out to people to give them the therapeutic experience of listening to music that's live music, or doing art projects, or I taught. I had a series of music history and music appreciation classes that I taught at 3 different retirement homes here in San Francisco. There's a lot of things I do, and if you want to be an artistpreneur, if you want to be an artist and make a living at it, you've got to have lots of different income streams. So you got to you've got to have your passive income of stuff that you've published and you get royalties off of, and then you got to have the gigs that you do, or the speaking engagements, or the art exhibits. The shows that you play, where you charge people to attend, sell tickets, and there's teaching. There's just a bunch of different ways that I have income coming in, that also you put it all together and it's enough to live by. You can't focus on just one thing that you do and expect to get by.
Have you ever felt like the world would be better off without you? You're not alone, and there's more to this feeling than you might think. New research reveals that suicidal thoughts and behaviors are unique to each individual, challenging the old belief that it's solely due to depression. When people are suicidal, they often believe they are a burden and that their absence would relieve others. They might see suicide as a solution to their overwhelming problems, feeling lost and unloved. But ancient wisdom, like that from the Bhagavad Gita, teaches us to give up selfishness and embrace kindness, respect, and compassion for all. St. Paul once said, "Love never fails," reminding us of the enduring power of love in our lives. No matter where you are in your struggles, remember that someone cares about you, trusts you, and loves you. You are not a burden. Time has a way of healing, and your struggles will pass. Don't give up before the miracle happens. Hold on, because peace and love are within reach. If you need immediate help, please contact local emergency services. Peace and love to all. KO.
Does anyone else have that one tool that makes building a website a breeze? In an era driven by digital change, WebHash is the indispensable tool that holds the key to effortless website creation. Create websites that endure, defy censorship, and bypass any single point of failure. As cutting-edge technology redefines reality, seize the power to build beyond limits. Join the Web3 revolution now and forge paths others can only dream of. Visit our site today and build your legacy. Building my own space on the web was always a grind until I hit up WebHash. Their no-code builder is my ace. It's swift and solid. It's like rocking a digital fortress that's immune to the typical shutdowns. Level up your web presence without stress. Ready to stake your claim in the digital realm? Dive into WebHash today, connect your Web3 wallet, and get started. They have multiple subscription plans, from a free version to a lifetime subscription. Check them out today at webhash.com. Most importantly, they sponsor the One Moment podcast, helping to raise awareness to critical topics in the healthcare field. Our official website was built using the WebHash platform. Throughout the projects that the One Moment movement built on WebHash, they stood behind and supported it all the way. Sign up and start building your website today. Don't forget to visit onemoment.chain.box and subscribe to our social media channels.
Have you ever felt unstoppable, like nothing could stand in your way? Sia's powerful lyrics in Unstoppable and reflections from Narcotics Anonymous is just for today. Inspire us to explore the choices we face in life. Nobody chooses their struggles with mental health or substance use, yet our decisions shape our paths. It's a journey filled with challenges, but also with opportunities for strength and resilience. Recovery is not just about overcoming obstacles, it's about making choices that reflect our inner power and determination. Imagine the impact of your decisions, not just on your life, but on those around you who are battling their own challenges. Every choice we make can either build us up or break us down. What will you choose today? Reflect on the power of your decisions. Each one is a step towards becoming unstoppable. Think about the people who look up to you. Your choices can inspire them to find their own strength. In moments of doubt, remember that resilience is built one decision at a time. Choose to be strong. Take a moment to reflect. What choice will you make today? Will it be one that showcases your unstoppable spirit? Peace and love to all. Remember, your choices define your journey. Stay unstoppable.
In the heart of the city, a vision was born, not just a piece of clothing, but a movement. Vital Apparel reflects not just the raw edge of the streets, but the spirit of innovation to bring about change in mental health worldwide. It's more than a style, it's a statement. A blend of comfort with an attitude made for those who refuse to be average. Embrace the culture, ignite your passion, and wear the revolution. Discover your new favorite piece today and be part of something larger than life. Visit our link now at vtlapparel.com to grab your next outfit. Use promo code ONEMOMENT to get 15% off your order. Why support us? The founders of Vital Apparel, Hung Dao and Alex Kozub, sought out to raise awareness, seeking to change the stigma around mental health. 5% of their profits are donated to Brain Research Foundation, furthering the research in mental health. Vital Apparel sponsors the One Moment podcast. We partnered with one another so that together we can make a global impact on mental health, substance use, and suicide, saving lives one moment at a time around the world. Help us break the stigma. Visit onemoment.chain.box to learn more about our podcast and to connect with us on social media. Don't forget to subscribe to our channels to stay up to date on our episodes. Subscribe now. Some photos in this ad were created by Grok.
A great example of multitasking personally.
Yeah,
Just out of
ADHD.
curiosity, one thing I want to say, um, the most important tool that you have and you're utilizing is your ability to deal with the children in a positive way and influence them, because they are ultimately our tools to take care of us in our elder times.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm so proud of your accomplishments with that. Um,
Thanks.
and here comes another question: Is Benjamin? Is there something that you personally would like to maybe promote, or maybe hear for our podcast viewers and or listeners
Yeah,
to
well,
some-
there's
personally that you would like to have us listen to today?
some music. Yeah,
Whatever you
I'm
want.
I'm playing some violin, and I've got uh, lots of recordings. I can play some for you, and I've got some YouTube videos of live performances that my old bands did, and current band. I'm applying for grants to put on a music festival uh, uh, for uh, uh, for for music for mental health for the 501c3,
That's
and
just seeing the fiddle in your hand reminds me of a childhood favorite. If you're going to play in San Francisco, you got to have a fiddle in the band.
yeah,
So go ahead and play us something.
this
Thank you.
is 50
Live
years ago waltz.
action on the Pueblo, live action on the One Moment podcast team. This is
Yeah,
awesome.
I this is 50 years ago waltz. It's a Mark O'Connor transcription I did. Let's see. Yeah,
Wow, that was absolutely amazing,
thanks.
and especially brain injured twice, massively titanium restructured skull, and traumatic brain injury. Last month was TBI month, awareness month, and this really pinpoints it, especially dealing with this month being mental health awareness month.
Yeah,
No, I'm right there beside you. I am shocked, surprised, ecstatic. Like all of those words that a TBI twice, right? Almost total reconstruction of the brain or of the head. Like, and to see that you have a lot of resilience, that you didn't let your mental health diagnoses or your TBIs, even again through your suicidal attempts, right? You let none of that stand in your way, and you relearned how to play music, and you're doing so much with it, from the music for mental health movement to you're working toward, if I heard you correctly, even putting on a music festival.
Yeah, yeah,
That is everything you're doing and have done is just amazing to see. And that shows a lot of resilience. That shows a lot of willingness. That shows a lot of patience, compassion, love,
yeah.
all of those things.
Yeah, well, God gave me another chance to make make something happen in this world, and to give back, uh, uh, despite any any hardships and living in abject poverty for years and stuff like that. I, I've been given the opportunity to help uh, people out, especially the people with mental illness, and the elderly. Uh, just having this opportunity, that I'm really grateful that God let me do all this, was able to restart my life. I don't know where I'd be if I was still just lying in bed 8 hours a day with bandages on my head recovering. It's like I couldn't just do that. I couldn't just sit there and do nothing. I felt like I have some to offer, that I could do some, be of service to the world. Um,
And you're doing a great job. The
thanks.
coolest thing is that I'm going to amplify it one more time is, and you just said it yourself. Number one, you've helped elementary school level children, and then you talked about just a moment ago about the elderly. I'm like, this guy's got the whole spectrum of the age group of humanity going from beginning to end, involving art and music and intellectual capacity, um, disregarding the stigma and the culturally and systematically developed stereotypically discardment of people. And one of the biggest things on one of my social media platforms is that for one human being to consider another human being as a piece of trash or something that is discardable, no, that is completely unacceptable to me, and I will never let the habits of the world and what they think is the best thing to do to disregard anyone in humanity. Um, I, in my own experience, just the other day, we had a podcast episode where I was offered an opportunity to take a medical certification, which I did and accomplished it. I have a certification to treat wounds from people that are self medicating with a terrible chemical that's called xylazine.
Xylazine. Is there another one now?
It's
What
they
happened to fentanyl?
they mix it with fentanyl, and
Ah,
that's terribly discouraging because this medicine is a veterinarian medicine, and they combine it with fentanyl. Number one, fentanyl in my correctional officer training um, explains to you immediately that the amount of two crystals of like an assault shaker, the two biggest salt shakers crystals can kill people. You
yeah.
touch it, you breathe it in, and I've seen even law enforcement people that were exposed to it, and they had to save his life because the guy was completely out and not breathing immediate.
Wow.
And he's in the police station, the sheriff's department. I can't remember exactly where, and I think it was somewhere in, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was somewhere in California, and his team members came in and found him, and I'm like, oh my god, fentanyl is doing that. They could be going to investigate a crime scene and get exposed to this and not even know it. And then people are using a veterinarian chemical to combine it with that and do something to try to get a high from. What is wrong with that? That's totally a mental health issue there to me. That's insane. I can't even, I wouldn't even want to recommend that to anyone. So some of the things that were accepted as like okay in the 70s, okay in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, 20s, 30s, 40s, alcohol use progresses and has progressed into some of the most terrible things involved in humanity now. And we're allowing from foreign countries, coming from Asia and coming from South American countries, all these things into our country. And it's really encouraging to know that you're helping people process these kind of things. So your work personally is really, really, really important, and we appreciate
Thank
for
you.
what.
Thanks. It's nice to hear. I don't get a whole lot of praise like that. I'm just
I'm a, I'm last in. My last name starts with the ZYL, and I've always been last in line. But when the time comes, the last will be first, and the first will be last. So
yeah,
that's the only thing that's saving my life.
yeah,
Well, and I think it's important to show not just to the public, but to yourself too, or not just to yourself, but also to the public, that mental health, just because somebody has a diagnosis, doesn't mean anything. It's not a, it's not about trying to criminalize somebody, penalize somebody just because they have a mental health diagnosis. Doesn't matter what it is: schizophrenia, schizoaffective, bipolar, depression, anxiety, substance use disorders. It doesn't matter. Whatever. I mean, you know, 80+% of the country used to smoke until they started banning it in stores and restaurants, and now most of the country don't smoke cigarettes, right? They used to be dead set against marijuana use, and now over 50% of the country actually supports marijuana use, right? I think last time I looked at the number was 60% of Americans actually use it, right?
I have a
Or has used it. So regardless of the situation, mental health is mental health. And I think that you are showing what you have showed, not just to us, but also to the world through everything that you've done, is you're not your mental health, right? That's
yeah.
not a that's not
You're
a
not your
label that
diagnosis.
I'm not my diagnosis.
Yeah,
And I think that's important for everybody to realize, is we're not that diagnosis. We're still human first, regardless of whatever number you give me in the system, whatever name you put on my medical and or clinical documentation. I'm still at the forefront of everything, a human being. And that's what I think you have shown everyone through your resiliency.
oh, thank you. It's nice to get some recognition. It's I don't have a very very many people I hang out with or converse with. In San Francisco's, uh, you definitely have to be affluent to be able to fit in to a lot of the situations, the social situations around San Francisco. Uh, uh, because if you're poor, you just can't get into anywhere and uh, to, to networking. It's a lonely city. Uh, you don't get an opportunity to network with people about well the meetings are great places to network and meet people, uh, but it's not it's there you it's a small population of of the of the country is goes to meetings, and a lot of people you miss out a lot of great experiences with normies. Uh, if you just hang out with with other alkies, and so I try to really reach out and make a lot of uh, play music everywhere. I play in BART stations, and that's where I get most of my uh, most of my income is a busk out there 2 times a day, usually, or at the Palace of Fine Arts. I'm there Saturdays and Sundays from like 11:30 to 1:30, playing. It gets a little cold. The days that it's not too windy or too cold at the Palace of Fine Arts, and uh, just really trying to get that outreach out there to. So I started taking on volunteer interns with Culture Scholar, and they're going to help me research grants and pass out brochures and cards, and try and get some awareness going about the organization, about the loneliness epidemic. Sometimes I tell people about the loneliness epidemic, they just sort of laugh. Loneliness, a disease, but it's a mental disorder. Uh, uh, it's it's it causes uh, heart disease and mental health, depression, um, uh, a lot of poor health conditions because you don't get out, you don't see people, you isolate and just sort of lay in bed, uh, depressed, and trying to get people out of that, because there's a lot of a lot that uh, these people have to offer, and myself, uh, something that could make the world a better place and make them feel better about who they are, and get beyond what their diagnosis is.
Absolutely, 100%. I am right there behind you.
So one of the biggest things that I found was that this kind of goes back into one of our first episodes. We talked about loneliness, and my thinking about loneliness was just, well, some people are lonely even if they have somebody in their home and that they're connected with, or imagine if you're in your own home and you're still lonely because you don't have any company that's supportive to you. That's not a very good mental health state to stay in. Um, and on the flip side of that, I want to say also that there are some people like to relish in their isolation. They isolate from other people, and they get back in tune with themselves to be able to be a better productive person. So loneliness it opens up a whole different heavy topic to be discussed maybe on another episode or anything, but it just confirmed into the original episode that we did that had addressed loneliness. It brings it into a more laser focused point to deal with. So um, I'm just I'm still kind of astounded just having Mr. Barnes as a guest. Um, we we like discussing things that are not usually discussed. We are continuing on the mission of the One Moment podcast team, um, with breaking the stigma, breaking the stereotypical, breaking the systematical and cultural, religion, all these things that line up for people to have I like the term normies because there's no normies.
Yeah,
Um, and so, because it doesn't matter, you could be in law enforcement, military, you could be in fire department, EMTs, paramedics, you could be the highest honored person with all these pieces of paper and diplomas that say you're the smartest person in the world. You still have issues to deal with that nobody else knows about, and if you keep them stuffed down and don't address them, they are doing nothing but hurting others, not only yourself but others around you. And I like the idea of continuing on with this movement to become a global influence in the mental health awareness community
Yeah.
in a great level. Especially, I can't believe how complete your working is from children all the way to elderly. I'm like, come on, this guy's like, here's your brass star for the day, you know. When they used to give, when I was in school anyways, you'd get a brass colored star on your chest if you did a
Yeah.
good job. So
Oh, thanks.
yeah,
Barnes, is there anything that you want to share with us, with the public? Because you have
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
phenomenal so
we
far.
like to call this, we like to call this part of the podcast the call to action.
Yeah. A call to action. If you could support us by getting the word out that we're doing something for the loneliness epidemic and music for mental health. I'd like to make it national. It's just San Francisco right now, but uh, get people going to get therapeutic music and art into facilities of underrepresented people. And if you can donate to us, we're at Venmo, it's at Culture Scholar. And then you can go to culturescholar.org/donate. Uh, that would be great to get a little bit of money so we can get to start traveling to other cities and communities and playing music and trying to bring that to people. I'm thinking about going back to school and getting a, a, a certificate of music therapy degree. If I can work it out, see what's happening. But yeah, and the music. Check out benjaminbarnes.com and the strollingviolinist.com. They've got and also my, you guys are going to be on my podcast segment, the Coach's Corner, and maybe you can get the word out there about your your quest to destigmatize mental health challenges. And yeah, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Nah, I've really enjoyed it. And you just let us know when you want us on that segment. Absolutely. It would be a privilege and an honor to be on that.
Yeah.
And so, uh, what would you like for, if there's one takeaway you want people to take away from this, right? What would you say you would like for somebody to take away from this
That I'd
recording,
like them
from
to
this
walk away
episode?
thinking I matter. Like I'm, I'm significant. I'm, I can make a difference in the world, and that I can feel proud of myself, for what I have accomplished in my life, that sort of thing.
That's power.
Yeah, no, that is absolutely powerful. So listen, folks, this is going to be your verbal disclaimer again. We talked about suicide, we talked about drugs, we talked about quite a few things here. Uh, but we also talked about resilience. If you're out there struggling, like Mr. Barnes said, there's 988. He gave that other resource to 988 is the number for the National Suicide and Crisis Hotline. You can call that phone number. You can also go to a local emergency department or a local crisis center in your area. Even reach out to somebody who is in your network. As Mr. Barnes was sharing, you heard what he shared. He shared a very positive, powerful message to not just himself, right, but for other people to read. Um, and so yeah, follow up with him. Check out his work. He's a great guy. We subscribe to his channel. He's really a great a phenomenal individual. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
Imagine a day where fatigue doesn't stand a chance, where clarity perks up your focus as the clock ticks on. Discover W Energy, the drink that transforms ordinary moments into opportunities. With no sugar and flavors that feel like gourmet art, each sip stirs your senses, readying you for greatness. W Energy is a focus energy drink that contains no sugar and is available in a variety of unique flavors. Their coffee fruit cherry extract is the star of the show. This ingredient is what makes W unique and helps to provide smooth and effective focus and energy, making it perfect for anyone who needs to conquer a task. W flavors are created with one goal in mind, to taste unlike any other beverage. We combine bold and unique flavor combinations to craft an experience for your tongue with each sip. W achieves its smooth, effective focus with a high-end tasting experience while using no sugar, no fillers, and no artificial color or dyes. Every product they create follows the same philosophy. Be effective, be clean, and taste as good as nature will allow. Use promo code ONEMOMENT to enjoy 10% off their products. And most importantly, they sponsor the One Moment podcast. They are helping to raise awareness of mental health, substance use, suicide, and much more around the world, seeking to make a global impact, reducing stigmas and changing lives one moment at a time. Visit onemoment.chain.box to learn more about our podcast. Follow us on our social media channels for more information and to stay up to date with our episodes.
Imagine a battle raging inside you, a battle between two wolves. One embodies all that is good, the other all that is evil. Vladimir Soloviev, a renowned Russian philosopher, once said, "What is important is not that in every man are the roots of good and evil, but which of the two prevails." This idea is beautifully captured in the Cherokee proverb about two wolves. When asked which wolf wins, the wise grandfather replied, "The one you feed." In our daily lives, we often feel pulled in various directions, experiencing internal conflicts and questioning our choices. These ideologies remind us to focus on doing what's right, to feed the good wolf within us. Feeding the good wolf means nurturing qualities like love, honesty, honor, integrity, respect, dignity, loyalty, and trust. Every day presents a new challenge. Which wolf will you feed today? Tomorrow? Next week? Next year? The choice is yours, and it shapes who you become. Will you let the good wolf prevail? Remember, the wolf you feed determines the path you walk and the person you grow into. So, as you close your eyes tonight, ask yourself, which wolf will you feed? Good night, family. KO.
I am constantly amazed by the profound impact of sharing our struggles with each other. The one day at a time phrase helps us remember to pause. In a pulsating world, we often forget to pause. That's where One Moment Podcast began its journey, committed to nurturing mindfulness, change, and advocacy around the world, reducing stigmas associated with mental health, substance use, and suicide, and changing the way the world reacts to these taboo topics. Your voice of reason starts here. Founded by mental health professionals and agents for change, our mission is to offer insightful narratives that foster not just reflection, serenity, and insights, but to tackle the problems and solutions of mental health, substance use, and suicide on a global scale. We are making it our vision and mission to make a global impact on the mental health, substance use, and suicide crisis. It is easy to feel isolated and unheard, or like you're carrying your burdens alone. On the One Moment Podcast, we remind you that you're not alone in your struggles. There are millions of people worldwide who are struggling, and the weight of your experiences deserve to be understood. You deserve to be heard. You deserve to have a voice. The One Moment Podcast is a safe haven for connection. We have weekly podcasts. Join us to learn more about mental health, substance use, suicide, community initiatives, and much more as we tackle these global crises, creating change in the world. Change begins when we recognize there is a problem. Remember, change starts with you. Visit onemoment.chain.box to learn more about our podcast and to connect with us on social media. Don't forget to subscribe to our channels to stay up to date on our episodes. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, One Moment Podcast. If you would like to support us, you can find the links to donate directly to us on our official site, onemoment.chain.box. You can also support our sponsors. We are presently sponsored by W Energy, The Place to Heal, Mindfully Me Counseling, PLLC, Bright Life Therapy, PLLC, and WebHash. Check our official site for more information. Subscribe now. Some photos in this ad were created by Grok.
Have you ever wondered how the principles of 12-step programs align with the core values of diversity, equity, and inclusion? Stay tuned to discover a surprising connection that might just change your perspective. Good morning, family. Today, we delve into the 12 traditions of 12-step programs and their emphasis on relationships. How do these traditions mirror DEI principles? Diversity is about our differences, and inclusion ensures everyone feels a sense of belonging. The 12 traditions guide us in respecting both differences and similarities. These traditions allow individuals to be themselves, free from barriers, and participate fully in relationships. They foster a sense of belonging, freedom, and love. People often say, "The steps keep me from killing myself, and the traditions keep me from killing other people." This highlights the importance of these guidelines in maintaining harmony. Many religious ideologies also emphasize DEI principles. For instance, Judaism's Tikkun Olam focuses on community service and social justice, aiming to repair the world. Jainism, an ancient Indian religion, emphasizes compassion and empathy, recognizing the inherent value and dignity of everyone. The Lotus Sutra, a Buddhist scripture, teaches us to recognize the worth and dignity of every individual, reinforcing the idea of inclusion. Feeling a sense of belonging is crucial for our growth and development. It's inherent in our very fabric of existence as social beings. So, what will you do today to help someone else feel a sense of belonging? Let's continue to pass on love, compassion, and empathy to everyone we meet. Peace and love to all.